Right now, everyone should have a messy mat, a piece of paper, and be wearing an apron. We just talked about our artist, Kandinsky, and how he uses lots of crazy shapes to create his artwork. Today, we're going to try to use some of those shapes and create some of our own to make our own work of art. I've given everybody one of these papers at your table to share that has lots of different shapes found in Kandinsky's own artwork. You can use some of these shapes to try to create your own artwork with them, or you can make up your own shapes. We're going to start with pencils. I want the person sitting in seat number 2 to come get the container of pencils and Sharpies from me. Remember, we're starting with the pencils, so you should only be getting out a pencil. If I see Sharpies out, I'm going to come pick them up. Put the container in the middle of the table and get out a pencil. First thing we need to do is write our name. Once you've written your name, you can flip it over so it's safe on the back. Now with the pencil, we're going to draw some of our Kandinsky shapes and create some of our own. Try to use 4 different shapes on your paper. Once you have 4 shapes on your paper, you can put the pencils away. I will come and pick up the Kandinsky paper from your table, and you can get out a Sharpie. We're going to use the Sharpies to trace over top of our pencil lines. That way our shapes stay on our paper. Remember, when the cap is off, your voice is off. Once you've traced over all your shapes, make sure you put the cap back on, squeeze it super tight so that it's on all the way and the Sharpies don't dry out, and then put them back in the basket at your table. I will come pick up these baskets and I will give you water cups. Each table will have 2 water cups you're going to share with the person next to you. You can go ahead and open up the cup and set it in between you and your partner. Now, I'm going to be passing out these trays with watercolors in them. Now, these watercolors doesn't look like there's very much in here, and they kind of all look similar, like they're the same color. The reason why is because we're going to add water to them to make them look how we want them on our paper. Now, we need to be careful when using the watercolors because I don't have a lot of these. If we make a big mess with them or not using them correctly, I can't let you use the watercolors anymore because we won't have enough for everybody. Now, these colors are tertiary colors. It's a big word, so let's try saying it all together. Tertiary. Tertiary colors are made when we mix a primary and a secondary color. Remember, our primary colors are red, yellow, and blue. Our secondary colors are orange, green, and purple. When we mix two colors, like blue, which is a primary, and purple, which is a secondary color, we get a tertiary color. When those two colors mix, blue and purple, we get this color right here. I know it's kind of hard to see, but this is called blue-violet. It's when you mix blue and violet together. This one over here is made by mixing orange and yellow. It's yellow-orange. Now we're going to set the tray of colors in the middle of the table so everyone can reach it. And everybody will get their own paintbrush. Now, to start painting these, you're going to get a little bit of water on your brush and wipe it on the lip of the container to get any extra water off. You just need a little bit, not a lot. That goes the same for the colors, the watercolors. You're going to just barely dip your paintbrush in. I barely dipped it in. You do not need a lot of this, or else you're going to have a huge mess on your paper and it won't turn out pretty like you want. Then you can just kind of brush the watercolor wherever you want it. You can fill in shapes, or you can just kind of paint it wherever. The more water you use, the less bright and vibrant the paint will look on your paper. It'll look a lot lighter when you add water to it. You can kind of see the middle is a really dark blue and the outside's a very light blue. When you want to change colors, make sure you really rinse off your brush well, and then you can pick your second color. Remember, just barely dip it in. You can put these right next to each other so they kind of mix on your paper. You can go all the way around your paper with it. If you need a little bit more, you can dip a little bit more on your paintbrush and then keep painting. Remember, we're not mixing colors on the tray. So after I pick one color, I can't put my paintbrush in another one until I've rinsed it off, wiped off the extra water, and now I'm ready to pick my next color. It's okay if you go off the paper a little bit. That's why we have our messy mats. And remember, it's okay if you need to get a little bit more paint on your brush. Start out with a little bit and you can always add more. When you're done, make sure you rinsed off the paintbrush really well. Put it back in the container at your table. And then raise your hands when your table is done. I'm going to come around and pick up the trays so we don't accidentally spill them all over the floor. But I'm going to have the person sitting in seat number 1 and seat number 3. They're each going to take one of the 2 water cups from your table. So the person in seat number 1 will take 1 water cup, and the person in seat number 3 will take the other water cup and put them on my counter. Now that we've finished painting our papers, we're going to leave them on the messy mat. We'll pick up the messy mat, and we're going to put them on the drying rack at the end of the tables.